My throat hurts.
What? This is 2 times in a row you've been on that the intro has been that. Dude.
Listen, it's been a hot minute. I mean, Dad called this morning at 8:30, and you'd have thought he was talking to like Tales of the Crypt. It was like, "Hello,
Santori, you need to channel your inner Brent Musburger. You are looking live. That one.
That's where I get it from.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, you are watching live to the best damn AFC back-to-back championship game appearance podcast. Bengals. Ah, who dey?
Who dey?
Oh my God,
Day.
How we doing? How we doing? I'll help you out here, Santori. How we doing? We got Cincy James. We got Bengal Dad. We got Santori. And we have me. And you know what? That's the word of the day. Well, I got a lot of phrases. They got to play us. And don't step on the tracks when the train's coming through.
Got a bunch of people in the chat already.
And I'm going to say
How we doing, everybody? How we doing? Are we all not fired up?
We're fired up.
Let's do
I
this.
put something out there early. McPherson was
trains are
perfect
coming.
yesterday.
The trains
hold on,
McPherson was
hold on.
perfect yesterday.
Give the man his moment. And we need to have this out here for Crypt. Crypt, we were talking about you all damn morning.
Is Crypt the one that keeps banging on me about that?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a bully.
McPherson was Mac Money, Mac Perfect, whatever yesterday. He looked the way he's supposed to look yesterday.
Thank you, Bengal Dad.
God bless McPherson.
Money Mac. Thank you.
Your bully.
What's up?
Get those refunds.
Get those refunds. Get those refunds. And the train just left Buffalo, and the train is going out of Kansas City. And all you Kansas City, just stay off the tracks, get out of our way, and nobody gets hurt.
I mean, this has got to be the most confident you've ever felt, right? I mean, they just,
Buddy, I usually back.
that was an absolute dismantling. Greg, you call me a realist. This is a genuine realist opinion. That was the most complete game that I've ever seen in the history of this franchise.
No, Bengal Dad, who is the biggest realist of them all, flat out admitted. I asked Bengal Dad, was this luck? He's like, no, this was the most. Didn't you not say to me and James, this is the most complete game you've ever seen in a Bengals
It's the
playoff?
most complete game. It's the best this team has ever looked in the 50 years I've been watching them.
That's awesome.
I mean, crisp.
And they did it at a massively important time on the road, depleted offensive line, nothing mattered. They went in there like Tom Brady and the Patriots. That's what they came in of like 5, 6, 7 years ago. They just came in there and roared.
There's a word that comes to mind: surgical. I mean, Joe Burrow.
It was beyond surgical. That was just
I mean, the running game, oh my God, everything just went perfectly well, both sides of the ball. The running game, the passing, the defensive line, the defensive backfield, everything was just awesome.
It's funny though, because and you guys know me as a realist on here. I guess my reputation precedes me. I'm sitting at work and I'm, it's probably 9, 10 in the morning, whatever it is. I'm starting to get my work week ready. And this guy comes up to me every single morning and leans over my cubicle and he goes, "Okay, what are you going to nitpick this time?" He's like, who? He's like, "I know you watch your film." He said, "Who was bad this time? Was there a backup punter or something you didn't like? Was someone's shoulder out of place?" He was like, "What are you possibly going to find from that one?" And I looked at him. I said, "Nothing." That was perfect. I'm sure if I really want to go through and nitpick, I can find some past sets that were bad, but I couldn't have asked for them to play any better than they did.
I'm floored that I'm hearing you say it.
I mean, this is incredible right here. I mean, this is incredible. Guys, we are witnessing history here, and I couldn't be more happy about this.
If you play like that, you can't lose. It was
if you guys would have heard the conversation that took place with my son and I, like on Wednesday of the a few days ago. I mean, I was ready not even to watch the game.
Oh, I was not happy.
Oh, he said they're not going to throw anything downfield. He's going to get it out of his hands before it even comes in his hands. They're not going to be able to block. And I said, so what you're saying is they don't have any chance to win. He said, minimal.
Yep.
Minimal.
I thought they were going to get their ass handed to them.
Hey, Jay Houday, man. Hopefully,
Now, Garen, keep in mind that was on the thought process because when Williams went out against Baltimore, right, and they brought in Carmen, they shifted their entire offense. They went away from 5-step drops. They went to 3-step drops. They went to quick game. It was slants. It was screens. It was RPOs. It was everything they did right after Dallas because they were scared shitless. And I said, if this is the approach that they are truly going to take moving forward, they're screwed. And I was like, and I can't even fathom that this is exactly what they're going to do. And I pray to God it's not what they're going to do. And I hope I'm wrong, but everything that I'm seeing believes me to believe that they're just going to go RPOs and slants, and they're going to be screwed. And they didn't do that, though. They opened it back up. They went with their normal offense. They said, fuck it, you got to play us, and let it rip.
And he was still getting the ball out of his hands in 2.5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I tell
He
you
was
what,
still quick.
play of the game, offense. Everybody thought it was going to a screen pass towards Chase, and you see Hayden wide open in the end zone. I mean, that was just a beautiful throw. They just had so many trick plays they thought was going to go one way, then it went the other. But how about Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine just running up the gut, just getting yards, killing clock time? That was just awesome.
Well, they went back again to power run.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've seen this kind of teeter-totter this year between zone runs and the RPOs and the power runs. I mean, we were sitting there because we watched it RJ Cinema. Dad was sitting next to me. Every time they'd run, I'd tell him, that was the inside, that was whatever. Almost every single time I told him, that's power run. And it got to the point that, my dad is very smart when it comes to, I would say, momentum shift. He's always kind of been in my ear of this isn't looking good, this is looking good. He's always had an eye for talent. If it couldn't necessarily tell you exactly what it was, he could tell you he thinks that one's going to be good, and he doesn't misfire too often. But he's not an X's and O's guy. He's not a play art guy. But halfway through the game, he was looking at me going, they pulled again. And I was like, there's your power run. He goes, yeah, they pulled that one. They're pulling. And I was like, they're sticking with power run the whole game, and it's working. So I had a little proud moment there that he was identifying scheme, because that's awesome. That gives us something more to talk about. And I truly mean that, Dad. I'm not trying to make it sound like belittle or something, because most people don't know the difference between a zone and a power. But the fact that it's
look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's a tight end and a receiver bully.
Uh-oh, Fred.
Yeah, they did drop a pass or two.
That's a good thing to have.
But it was fun for me to sit there and have you identify schemes and just stuff like that. And I was like, okay, this gives us more to talk about. So
How
it's
crowded was the
another
theater?
layer. What's that?
How crowded was the theater?
Well, there were 3 theaters full.
Oh, wow.
They opened up 3 or 4 rooms, and we were in the third one, and ours was probably halfway. Ice's, where Strawberry was, his was full, and then there was a third one that was pretty full as well. Parking was packed. The lines for the concessions and beer were packed. I mean, they're doing it again Sunday at 6:30. I mean, they're opening, I think, at 10 a.m. They're doing waffles and stuff.
Wow.
They're doing breakfast and brunch, and
Tailgate?
they're gonna air NFL stuff the entire day.
Damn.
So I'm like,
Well, I'm sure they'll have the first game on.
Yeah, 3.
oh yeah, it's if you haven't had a chance to go down to RJ Cinema watch a game, they're doing it again Sunday. They'll have both games. They're going to be open before. Their kitchen, I think, closes at 9, but they're doing drinks after the game. Seriously, that's a pretty unique place to watch a game if you haven't done it. I think I'm probably going to go back down there Sunday. But I 10 out of 10 recommend it. It was fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd like to, but man, getting me back home late again.
So I was supposed to go and
It's the cost for winning, James.
Well, no, but so Santori, I don't know if you know this. After the game, I was calling my boss about something. He's like, "So you ready to go in?" I had to go straight into work after the pile of snow, and I immediately after the game, I was at work till 3 in the morning. But I was in the best ever. I'm like, you imagine who would have lost that game? I had to go in and plow snow and a cruddy. That game got me through the whole night, and it went by easy. But man, that was just awesome. That game I'm still in awesome spirits, man. It was just so cool.
We have a ringing endorsement from my wife about Argent Cinema. It is really fun.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't know if people don't know this. It's a distillery and a tap room, so they make some of their own liquor. They do have a bunch of stuff on tap. It's a smokehouse too. They've got some really good like pulled pork. They've got brisket. I mean, I had like fried chicken tenders because I'm a child. But they've got some really, really good food. They got Cubans there. Like they're smoked wings. I saw Dad was chomping on some smoked wings during the game. You're picky about your wings. How were they?
They were good. It was either chew on the wings or chew on my fingers, and I chose the wings. I was nervous up 17. I mean, I'm always waiting for something bad to happen.
Was there any peanut butter and jelly sandwiches there?
No, there wasn't.
Dang.
He probably had one when he got home, though.
No.
This is good.
Well, you had Kenny Anderson.
Do what?
You had a Kenny Anderson.
Yeah, Ken Anderson.
Yeah.
I still can't get over Tom's face.
No. I rewatched that over and over. Tom's eyes.
He looked disgusted when we said that.
It was so disgusting. That just cracked me up. But that's a compliment. Everybody to each his own, you know? That's the thing about it.
All right, well, let's get into it here because there's a lot to talk about because, like we said, that game was borderline perfect.
We got our sponsor scrolling on the bottom.
Yeah, sponsor, by the way. I'm not bitter at all. Brimming Horn Meadery!
Boom!
There it is.
It's good stuff. That's honey wine. That's all I got. I've said it a million times. Sorry, Montana.
Use our code HOODAY9 and you get 15% off an order of at least 2 bottles. They will ship it straight to your house, but as Santori said, not in Montana because they hate Montana.
There's actually like 4 states. I don't know, and I'm sure it just has to do with alcohol shipping laws. But Montana just seems remote enough for me to make fun of.
Oh, absolutely.
So I always do it. Let me see what the states actually are.
The 9 people in their state are really going to get upset at you.
Right. All one of them that might find this on their Twitter feed one day.
But something great. Birmingham, I mean, they've won a bunch of awards. You go on their website and you look, and it's just award after award after award after award. I mean, they're doing some good things. And the rumor is they're coming out with King of the North again.
I hope so, because that was the best one I've had.
Yeah, that's the rumor. But BirminghamMeadery.com, HOODAY9 is the code, 15% off. That basically covers your shipping. Boom.
Not all products ship to Montana, Michigan, and New Jersey. So screw you guys.
Oh, Jersey? Dang.
Jersey's close to Rhode Island.
Jersey doesn't need
or wherever it is.
any more alcohol. Trust me.
The situation can't get you're telling me the situation can't get meat. Birmingham meat. Uh-oh.
Yeah, it says not all products ship to those 3 specific. So it might only be like that there's one product that can't go to those 3. But I'm going to keep making fun of Montana until they change that.
Oh, goodness. I'm trying to pull their website up.
All right. Let's talk about game balls.
There's so many.
How many coaches are on the staff? How many players?
We give it to the whole team.
Can the entire organization get a single game ball? Because that was just.
Let me correct myself. It's not Rhode Island. It's Delaware.
Yeah,
I said the wrong state. I apologize.
I do. I've got a unique one, and I think a lot of times my dad will point stuff out, and some people think that he's a little cuckoo sometimes.
Damn.
But we talk about it, and he'll be like, I just don't think people necessarily see what I see, and I'm like, he's typically a little bit ahead of the curve when it comes to stuff. He feels the avalanche on the first snowflake, if you will.
Yeah.
He got the McPherson thing right because he was struggling for a hot minute. You guys looked at him like he was crazy when he was struggling.
Struggling.
He's made a lower percentage of kicks. He's missed the same, but he kicked less.
Yeah,
It's a lower percentage.
lower percentage. Yeah.
Where are you going with this one?
One where he was spot on yesterday, and this is where I want to give my game ball to Drew Chrisman. Because the long snapper, look, he didn't mess up, but those weren't the cleanest snaps.
No,
Drew Chrisman did a hell of a job of pulling those things down and getting them right in front of Money Mac.
he did.
Mm-hmm.
And after the first snap, he's like, that wasn't a great snap. Then the next one, that wasn't good either. And he had his fair share. He made 4 kicks in that game, whatever it was. Every 5 kicks. Yeah, every single snap was not clean. But he was pointing it out to me. He's like, that snap was, and he was correct. They were in on the hip of Drew. He's having to, catch it kind of inverted. It's like a short hop. So give some credit to Drew Chrisman for getting those down, because not only to catch it like that in that ice, but then to get it in the right spot on that ice, because there was a lot of ice. They might not talk about it a whole lot on the field, but there was a lot of slushy out there.
Yep.
Great.
So, game ball to Drew.
Man, I'm thinking hard on this one and all. You know what? I got to say it because I love this quote from Good Will Hunting when he asked that guy, "You like apples?" He's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "How do you like them apples?" Eli Apple with that huge 4th down stop right there. There's another corner. I'm sure one of you's going to mention him, but I want to give it to him. But Eli Apple, huge stop. And I'm not going to lie to you. We all know Eli Apple can get a little cocky, but when he was getting cocky, deep down inside, you just can't help. That was awesome. I'm sorry, but that was awesome. I'll go Eli Apple, man.
Remember when y'all wanted to cut him at the beginning of the year? And I'm like, you need to pump the brakes.
I didn't want to cut him. No. He's a great 3rd or 4th option, Eli Apple. Eli Apple's, like you said, Santori, you're usually realistic, but you've always backed up Eli Apple. Eli Apple can be very unappreciated. Eli Apple, though, gets a huge game ball for me right there.
I think we just didn't want him to play a whole lot.
Yeah.
What it was.
I'm okay with him playing a lot. It's one of those things
where turned into that.
It's one of those things where corners are so scrutinized, because even a tiny mistake by a corner can change an entire game.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you got to play perfect 99% of the time, and that 1% you got to hope doesn't screw up everything.
Hell yeah, Jay Houday.
So even when you're the epitome of average, you give up a lot of bad crap. So, and trust me, we've seen some horrific corners over the years.
Oh, absolutely.
Not to name names, but we've seen some guys that we would much rather have Eli Apple.
Yes.
So if that is I got 2 guys hurt and he's got to start for 10 games, so be it.
Thank you.
Yep. Bengal Dad?
This is kind of going to turn into a reclamation show for me. Joe Mixon.
I knew it.
Yeah!
Mixon ran like his hair was on fire.
Yes.
I don't know what it was, but he ran with absolute purpose yesterday. He ran angry. He ran violent.
He ran.
He played yesterday.
The whole team played that way.
He had 105 rushing yards on 20 carries.
And he had a lot of yards after initial contact.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I really liked about it.
And Samaje Perine
Perine
well too.
Wow.
Both of them did.
They had 172 yards on the ground.
Yep.
Against what was supposed to be a top 5 defense. That's another one of those things. Like I said with Tennessee, I always thought that they were kind of the whole year, and everybody looked at me like I was crazy. I didn't think Buffalo's defense was worth a damn the entire year.
Yeah.
They played so well yesterday. I think Brandon Allen even had a good game.
Yeah.
But yeah, look who they play twice each year, and might help you out a little bit there.
Also didn't think Minnesota was any good. We saw how that worked out.
Yeah.
Who's your game ball go to?
Gosh, there's a lot left.
There's too many.
We might need to go back around. I don't know.
No, we do.
Horns again.
I got
we can go 2 laps.
All right. So I'll pick one person. I'm going to say Mike Hilton. He was.
I don't think
he looked like he was shot out of.
He was.
I was like, I don't think you can pick a wrong player in this
You
segment.
cannot.
He looked like he was shot out of the cannon half the time, and he was getting in the backfield just like he always does. But if I told you that there was a player on the team that led the team in tackles, who would your first pick be?
Logan Wilson.
That would be my first pick too. The double-digit tackling machine. It was Mike Hilton.
Wow.
He led the team in tackles.
That's
he had where to go? He had 8 tackles. Logan Wilson had 7.
Wow.
Like, that's from a guy that doesn't play all, like, he's not out there all the time. He's got packages that he goes out and plays.
I think a play that happened yesterday that was indicative of how jacked up Allen was. He was so locked in on his receivers. You had Hilton, who basically blitzed from the bench, came halfway across the field, not from his blind side, but from his front side. Allen never saw him. He was so locked into a receiver downfield, he didn't see a guy through his peripheral, and he didn't see him at all. It just amazed me that he could blitz from so far away.
Yeah.
Well, that's when we talk about some guys are really good athletes at the quarterback position and some guys know how to play quarterback. That's the difference between Burrow and Allen. Allen's a freak athlete. He's a great quarterback.
Yes.
If you want to go down to the art of being a quarterback, it goes beyond physical tools. It goes beyond all those intangibles. It goes – pocket presence is so key. The awareness of where the other 21 guys are on the field in a snowstorm around you is so vital.
With white uniforms on.
Right. Jesus. I mean, we laugh about that, but it matters. I've coached in games where it's, we're playing a green team and they're on the green. They got all greens on, a green helmet, and it's night and I'm not necessarily looking in the right spot and I can't find the safety. I don't know where he's at and I'm counting 10 and then I find him. It's like, oh shit, he was legitimately blending in on that one pattern over there in the 5-yard line.
Yep.
It happens. I mean, you see it every year with like Boise State will lay one of their kick returners down in the end zone. He's laying out like a star and you don't see him and he'll pop up at the last second. Like that's part of it. So when you are wearing all white and it's snowing everywhere, that's a legitimate thing. It's not easy to read.
No, it's not.
Next game ball, Santori.
Round the horn again.
Yep.
Frank Pollock. Going around?
Yeah, we're going around. Frank Pollock. Have those guys ready and playing that. They were so damn crisp. I mean, if they would have come out and looked like a total shit show, I don't think anybody would have been mad at Frank.
No.
That you'd have been like, well, this is what you have. And quite frankly, as much as we're making fun of him right now, there's some truth to what Eric Weddle was saying. They are second, third string, and a lot of these guys are practice squad. Jackson Carman's been a healthy scratch the entire year. Deontay Smith has been a healthy scratch most of the year. Mm-hmm. It hasn't worked out. So, and he played, a handful of snaps and looked good too. Jackson Carman was the best looking offensive lineman out there this week. And that's saying something because Ted Karras still played and Volson still played. Right. It's one of those things where when an entire unit plays well, it's not the unit, it's the coaching. So for as much as the line's been like this over the last 2 years, and as much as we've scrutinized Frank, is he this good coach? Isn't he this good coach? What are we really going to get with Frank Pollock? I mean, he's earned his freaking contract for next year after what I've seen.
Well, no, Santori, remember the start of the year when the offensive line was not playing that well? Some people were saying, could we all agree if the offensive line did not work this year, could have Frank's job been on the line? Did you think his job was on the line this year?
I always said, and I'm sure we can find it and clip it if we need to give the offensive line till about week 5 to 7.
Right.
Before we really start judging them. Mm-hmm. If they would have looked as bad as they looked weeks 1 and 2, around weeks 6, 7, 8, Frank's job would have been on the line.
Mm-hmm.
But even at week 5 and 7, when they weren't gelling yet, but you went from giving up 5 sacks a game to 2, there was a vast improvement.
Absolutely.
And, here's the thing, and people don't want to admit this either, and it's kind of, they've lucked out with it. But Volson was not the plan at left guard moving forward.
Nope.
No, he wasn't. Karras was not the initial plan at center moving forward. They wanted Jensen out of Tampa. Karras was going to be a guard.
Yeah.
So they've already done some shuffling from their preliminary blueprint. They're not done adding and working on this line. They're never going to be.
Yeah.
I don't know what their future at right tackle is. I don't know what the future at left tackle is. I mean, was that one good game from Jackson Carman, or is he going to start pushing Jonah for left tackle?
Right.
I mean, this line is going to keep developing. And if you've got Frank pushing the right pieces and you can get him one or two more pieces to keep competing, Joe's going to be in good shape for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm giving a ball to Frank Pollock.
Great job right there, Santori. That's the way he Dudley gets it. Okay. My next game ball, I really had to do some thinking about this one. I tell you what, Trey Flowers has heard a lot of people are panicking. Can we agree Dax Hill came in and proved himself? He was in on a bunch of plays. I thought Dax Hill came in, because a lot of people were saying Dax Hill has a chance to prove himself. Why he was the first-round pick? I thought he did a phenomenal job coming in at times, filling in for Trey Flowers. Do you guys?
Yeah, 100%. There was one play where they ran a corner out to the end zone with Dawson Knox.
That's it. Yeah.
And he was overthrown. He wasn't going to catch the ball anyway if Dax didn't cover him. It was just he overthrew him by 2 or 3 yards. But the coverage that he had, if it would have been a perfect ball, he was right there. He's going to knock it away. He was playing up and through the hands. He was right on his inside hip.
Perfect.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for better coverage as a defensive backs coach. It would have been perfect. I'd have been crying if my guys would have covered like that. It's textbook. You can't ask for anything better. In weeks past, there would have been a yard or two's worth of separation there. I can't say that Dawson Knox wouldn't have been wide open. So, I mean, just that play alone stands out to me. The fact that he wasn't running out of bounds or having stupid penalties on special teams stands out to me. I mean, there's the performance between last week and this week is night and day. And sometimes that just comes with time. Sometimes it comes with game reps. But he played his ass off. Truly.
Absolutely. Bengal Dad?
The guy that never seems to catch balls in the second half did yesterday. So I'll give one to
Yes.
Hurst. They played him in the second half.
Hurdle and Hurst?
Right.
That boy was not a big first down.
Hurst, last 2 games I thought he was going to do something. He did, and I'm so glad you proved me wrong. I said on one show, Hurst, you have every right to punch me in the gut if you have a good game, and I'm waiting for you to punch me, man. Thank you so much, Hayden Hurst.
And if I remember right, I think he was our leading receiver. Or no, he was 2 yards behind Chase.
Oh, he was? Okay.
Yep. 61 yards to 59 yards.
He'd have had a much bigger game if Burrow would have threw one pass a foot lower.
Right.
Yeah.
He'd have had a second touchdown and about 10 more yards.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that one. That was another one. List. Can't go wrong.
All right. I got several left. Like,
we can do a third round here. I'm cool. I got more.
I'm trying to decide if I go with a single player or if I go with a unit, because this one player.
We love units of balls.
Do what?
We love units of balls.
Yeah.
There it is.
Ball
all right,
units.
I'll go with the unit then. The defensive line. They were getting pressure all the time. I know in the numbers didn't show it, like in terms of sacks, but they were getting there.
Yes.
They were making Josh Allen throw on platforms that were not conducive to Josh Allen completing passes.
And that's another thing that when you go back and look at like an old Bengals versus new Bengals thing, because there's vastly different eras right now, and I think we can all say we are in a clear-cut new era for this franchise.
Yes.
I don't know how many times over the last 10 to 15 years, and that's even happened this year, where I'll be like, hey, Dad, this team's really bad on run defense. Then for whatever reason, we can't run against them. Or I'll say, hey, they're really bad in pass defense, and, they pick us off 2 or 3 times. And it's like, well, why is it that the whole league operates this way except when they play us kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why is it that we can pass block with all the slush on the ground? And they even interviewed Sam Hubbard, and he said it was struggling to get footing out there. It was all ice and all slush it was pure survival mode trying to stand up. Why is it that we could pass block, but Buffalo couldn't? Why is it that our defensive line could get the push, but Buffalo's couldn't? It's so opposite of what we're used to seeing in those kind of conditions. I mean, we've seen it in years past where we've got 20-mile-an-hour winds and we can't throw a ball, but here comes Kerry Collins straight down the field throwing darts, and the wind didn't affect him.
Best pass ever.
Right. So it's one of those things where how did that weather not affect us? Because the conditions were not good.
Yep.
It's like they just pure willed themselves to say, I don't give a fuck. We're just going to go do it.
You see Burrow doing spin throws during
oh my God.
I mean,
that's awesome.
That was one of the coolest videos I've ever seen. I know he throws it and then then spins. I know he's kind of working on the spin as he throws it, but
when he's back to the camera, I don't know if it's just slow motion. They caught it in the right frame. His eyes were closed.
Yeah.
He threw that ball with his eyes closed, spinning. And I never saw if the frame ever ended, but that ball looked like it was going to be right on the freaking money.
Yeah, if you look at where I don't remember if it was Irwin or Taylor that was. I think one of them was who it was that was running, but you followed them, and then they get behind Burrow, and you see the ball coming down, and it goes right.
It goes behind Burrow too, so it's
right
like
there. It's like.
Oh. Hey guys, can we do one more round? I think we can do one more round of game balls. Or
Santori, go.
Well, let's make this a quick round. I got 3 or 4 items here. Let's make this a quick round.
Quick.
All right. Joey B, man. I mean, I know we don't. I think we always kind of take him for granted at this point, and I hope people never take Joe Burrow for granted.
Never.
But like I said, the conditions were not good, and yeah, the grip on the ball might not have been too much different because snow doesn't affect the grip a ton. Rain affects it a lot. Ice affects it a ton. If ice gets in the laces, it's a bitch. But if the ball's just a little damp, there's mud on that stuff like a baseball. It almost gets tacky at times. It's not a huge deal. But for him to have the pocket presence and the movement, I mean, he was making some vintage Joe Burrow cuts. And I mean, the first touchdown to Jamar Chase was like a jump pass that you see from Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he was fucking on it. I mean, he was as crisp as I'd seen him. And for as off as he was at times against Baltimore, the conditions were 10 times worse, and he was 10 times better.
Absolutely.
Joe Burrow.
Hey, Santori, never take for granted. Absolutely. I might as well just go whole defensive backfield. I'm surprised. James, I was really expecting you and all that since you just bought the shirt. Got to go Juice Patrol, man. Cam Taylor-Britt.
Juice Gang.
Play it. Juice Gang, sorry. Oh, that's right. Juice Gang.
But, Juice Patrol.
Yeah.
I like it, though.
No, I like Cam Taylor-Britt, though. Biggest defense play of the game, in my opinion, is when Josh Allen was going deep. That could have been a huge game changer for the Bills right there. And the guy caught it. Cam Taylor-Britt, the last second, batted out of his hands. I mean, Cam Taylor-Britt, from what he had to come into to start, I mean, he has just been phenomenal this whole season as a rookie. Cam Taylor-Britt, man, gets already has gained my full trust. Am I right?
I think he gave up 11 yards to Stephon Diggs.
That's ridiculous. And Stephon Diggs, they say, is the best.
We should have given up about 50 more if it had been a good ball, but yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Stephon
there will be learning moments, and that's fine. Eli Apple does it too. Pac-Man Jones did it too. You're never not gonna get cooked.
Yeah. Happens.
Yeah, but Cam Taylor-Britt, the whole defense. I might as well just say the whole, because my last two were Eli Apple and Dax Hill. I might as well give it to the whole defensive back, but Cam Taylor-Britt definitely gets recognition.
Bengal dad.
I'm gonna go with Zach Taylor.
Zach
Taylor doesn't get nearly enough credit. I think he's a hell of a coach, and he's even a better culture building manager.
I think he's just a good person.
That's really what he is. This team has played hard for him from the first day he came in that building. When they lost 6 of their first 32 or whatever that was, they were playing hard in his first 2 years when they sucked.
6-1,
yep.
I think.
And he has just built such a foundation. I just heard again today, and I know it's easy when you win, but there were a ton of players that were in there today working out.
Mhm.
And they have today and tomorrow off. These guys genuinely want to be with each other. And Zach Taylor is at the core of that.
I agree.
James, let's go, bud. Let's do this, James.
Mine is going to be a little off the wall here, but I'm going to go Duke Tobin and the Blackburns. That's a band name right there.
Yeah, it's a band.
For assembling this
Duke
team.
and the Blackburns.
Yeah. So for assembling this team, getting the depth that they did, and keeping it and being able to utilize it, I think that goes with Zach Taylor too, utilizing it. But assembling this team to make sure that we're okay when guys go down. So next man up, just like it has been all year. So that's mine. My third one.
Awesome.
I'm good. I think we've
Yeah,
we covered. I mean,
think we've
how about
covered
we
it.
go 3 rounds of this? That's awesome.
absolutely. All right, Bengal Dad, what'd you have on the
All right,
docket?
I got a few things here, and there's not a lot of comment probably for the first one here. But for those who were paying attention, the line opened this morning, Bengals plus 2.5.
Yep.
And it's already moved to Bengals -1.
Yep.
The money has moved heavily toward the Bengals. That is obviously based upon what is to be known or unknown about
That's
Mahomes.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they said that's the first time that Kansas City has ever been a home dog in the playoffs
Wow.
in the 5 years that Mahomes was there.
So we're favored by a point.
We are favored right now by a point.
Which is
Vegas
kinda like-
expects it to go as high as 2.5.
And you get 3 for being at home, don't you?
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
unwritten rule. Yeah.
All right, so that was one thing I wanted to mention. I don't know if anybody watched Dan Orlovsky this morning
Yeah,
I-
I
little
did.
bit.
when he made that comment that Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the NFL. I think the whole room kind of like shut up when he was in that studio. He then went on to then say Mahomes is the best player in the NFL, but
Yeah.
Burrow is the best quarterback. And he said there's a vast difference, as Santori was saying, there's a vast difference between being a player and a quarterback.
Well,
Just
it's
how
like-
quick he processes everything, all the things that go along with it.
there's an art to it. And, we always like to kind of reference things back to baseball. There's a difference between a thrower and a pitcher. There's a difference between Aroldis Chapman throwing 99 to 105 and Nolan Ryan throwing 99 to 105.
Yeah.
There's an art to it. There's throwing and there's pitching, and I think Mahomes at times and definitely Allen at times are a little bit more throwers. They can throw a football through a brick wall and make things happen. Burrow can't do that. Burrow's your Greg Maddux in that situation. He's got to be precise and paint.
Dude, you said Greg Maddux, and that reminds me of a picture I saw, and it was, hey, have you ever seen Greg Maddox's house? And then on the outside, only the corners of the house is painted.
Yep.
Sorry, I had to say that.
Yeah, but that's what it is. There's, they're the, and it's not that they're not good quarterbacks. I don't want people to think that I'm just saying, oh, they don't understand the position. They do. They're very much understanding of the position. I just think there's another level to it. It's. I'm not even going to say it's a 1 and 2 situation. It might be a 1A, 1B situation. But if you're talking about the actual art of a quarterback, Burrow's the 1A and they're the 1B. If you're talking about the athleticism and the physical traits of the quarterback position, Burrow might be a 4 or a 5, and those guys are 1 and 2. I mean, that's 100% true. But if you want to talk about the complete package of understanding the position in being a field general and understanding where all the other 21 guys are at any given moment and all the little other nuances, Burrow's your guy.
Yep.
Mahomes reminds me kind of like that backyard QB,
Mm-hmm.
making those kind of plays, and he's awesome at it. Unbelievable. But yeah, Burrow is the tactician. He's the surgeon. He's the surgical guy. He's the one that's going to pick you apart. And
this is going to upset a lot of people, but Allen is Roethlisberger with speed.
He is. He is. I mean, taking down, I remember someone saying about Roethlisberger, getting to Rossford is one thing, take them down is another, and that's the same thing with Josh Allen.
What else you have there, Bengal Dad?
I got two more things here. I was listening to Bengal Line before we got on here, and Lapham said the chances of Kappa or Jonah playing this Sunday, slim and none. He said, so don't expect that to happen. My thought was, though, if either one of them two would have been ready, would you have played them with what we just saw?
You look at that.
This is a tricky question. Would I have played them if they'd have been ready?
Yes.
Like coming up,
but I have hindsight to know what would have happened if I didn't play them.
No, are you talking about against Kansas City?
Against Kansas City.
Okay.
Oh, knowing what if that is truly what the line's going to look like moving forward, and we're hoping that wasn't a flash in the pan or just one game of.
Well, I know where you're going with that.
Okay.
Yeah, you wouldn't play them.
No, if you can guarantee me that that's at least the level of effort and performance, because results are going to vary. But if you can guarantee me that that's the same scheme and that's the same level that they're going to exert effort-wise, no. I don't need to have them. Let them rest for the Super Bowl.
No,
if I even need them.
Do you activate them and have depth? Or do you just
roll?
roll?
An absolute emergency, yes. But they would be there
only if they're ready.
They'd be there for an emergency in case those guys went down. But no, if that's what I have moving forward, I'm okay giving them the week or two or three. Well, whatever it is. I mean, 3 weeks from now, those guys are going to feel great.
Yeah.
Especially because, and knock on wood, I hate saying this, but it's the truth of the matter. You don't know what you're going to lose this week.
Yeah. And you look at the Chiefs defense. The only one on that defense that really does give me concerns is Chris Jones. Other than that, are they really not that much different than the Bills defense, really?
Not a whole lot. They rank very similar across the line in all those categories.
Chris Jones is the only one that I just worry about. That's the only one.
Chris Jones is I saw this the other day when I was watching him on TV. I did not know this. Because Chris Jones, in my opinion, is a Hall of Fame defensive lineman.
Yes.
A great defensive player. I don't know what his accolades are. I really don't know the numbers. I don't know the stats. And I know a lot of times that's what we base Hall of Fame stuff on. I'm going off tape and longevity. He seems to always be a pain in the ass every year. To me, that's a Hall of Famer. I don't know the numbers. I'll be 100% honest. But the number I saw shocked me. He's never had a sack in a playoff game.
Wow.
He's
never
played 13 playoff games. He doesn't have one sack.
That's incredible.
Here's something. So, real quick, mom put out there, "Hey, Mom, what's going to happen with Mahomes' ankle?" And then Stranger, they said level 2 high ankle sprain. That doesn't heal in 8 days. We will be playing Patrick Mahobbled. That's funny.
You're going to be playing. God, what's that? What's the injection called? Toradol.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, you're going to be playing Toradol Mahomes is what you're going to be playing.
What is it? I was going to say, I thought injection. You ever seen the movie Varsity Blues where the coach is like, "Can you fix them?" And with what's that quarterback?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So they're going to rest him as much as they can. Henny is probably going to get every chance at every rep he can just in case.
Yeah.
Reed is not a bad coach.
No.
Oh, right.
Chiefs are people need to keep this in mind. The Chiefs have a damn good offensive line. They have the number one ranked left guard and the number one ranked center.
Yeah.
Okay? They are built. Okay. Mahomes still at, let's say it's 75% strength, is better than 90% of the quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yes.
You still got a great line. You still got a great quarterback. His arm strength is going to make up for most of any of the mobility that he's going to lose. He can generate enough arm strength on his own without throwing. He's going to lose some accuracy, but he's still going to be able to throw a ball through a brick wall.
Yeah.
They didn't lose any receivers. They didn't lose any backs. Their defense is still there. It's still the fucking Chiefs. But He's not going to be able to scramble.
No.
Right.
That he will be very much immobilized.
Well,
If you
Santori,
can cave that pocket,
yeah,
you're going to be in great shape.
Santori, like you know, last year how we played Mahomes like nobody else did. Everybody tried to blitz Mahomes the entire time, and that just backfired. We made Mahomes stay in the pocket. We had him concerned. I'll never forget when Harmon and Tyreek Hill last year were fighting on the sidelines because they were all confused. That's what we need to do to Mahomes. Same thing as last year.
You know what you need to do? And I hate saying this because it sounds very rudimentary, but it's 100% true. You need to just double Kelsey and find a way to get your hands in the throwing lanes.
Mm-hmm.
If there is a game where you could bat 10 passes, it's this one.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to be able to extend. He's not going to have time to keep backpedaling and going deep. Because I don't know how many times I've seen him just take like a 10-step drop and let it rip.
Yep.
It's like he's falling backward and still throws it 60 yards in the air. We've seen that every game he's ever played. He's not going to be able to do that stuff. He's not going to be able to generate that kind of power. Get your hands up.
Get those hands up.
Seriously, DJ Reader, BJ Hill, all those guys. If there is a game where deflections could run rampant, it's this one.
Who mainly guarded a Kelsey last time? We held him to 50 yards. Was it Pratt or was it Flowers?
Yeah, it's Flowers.
Okay, yeah. Well, I wonder if we were saving Flowers for that particular game also too. I wonder.
I heard a little bit of Lapham on the radio today, and he was acting like Flowers is going to play this week. So who knows?
Well, need Flowers still.
I mean, Flowers hasn't really played great this year. He played well against Kelsey.
Hey, if it's for that one player like Kelsey, I'll take that.
If it works against Kelsey, great. But if it's not working against Kelsey, Dax held his own against Dawson Knox. So I'm not sure if I'm really wanting to roll the dice against Kelsey in the playoffs. But
about that,
if that's kind of the position that Dax was drafted for, is that Swiss Army knife, and that's going to be his responsibility at some point.
Right. Bengal Dad, you had one more thing, didn't you?
One last thing, and this is a little bit on the nostalgic side of things, because I am, as you can tell, an older dude. And
I don't see that.
I've tried to share with my son what it was like to be a fan of the Big Red Machine as a kid. And people scoff about the old guys that talk about the Big Red Machine and everything. But I will tell you right now, if we could capture what's going on right now with the Bengals, and I've said this to my son yesterday. I don't know if he even paid any attention to it. Right now, guys, these are the good old days. It's happening right now. We have it on video. This is it right now. It's not going to get, short of winning a Super Bowl, it's not going to ever get any better than this. We have a great football team. We got an unbelievable fan base. Everybody is charged up. We love every part of this team. This is our team. This is the team that we will be telling our kids and grandchildren about. This team of 21, 22, Joe Burrow. Live in the moment. This is it.
My son, who's 11, is going to be talking about Joe Burrow until he's 85, 90 years old. Just think about that. That's exactly what you're talking about.
He's being spoiled right now.
Yes.
Because there's no more Big Red Machine. There's not going to be another Joe Burrow that plays for the Bengals most likely 15 years from now. Just like the Patriots aren't ever going to have another Brady. We're in the moment.
Yes,
it's time to just
everybody
really
everybody gets their 15 minutes.
Goes back to
yours right now.
It goes back to what you said earlier. Don't take Joe Burrow for granted.
No, I mean I know I sound like an absolute fangirl when it comes to Joe Burrow. My wife likes to make the joke that he's we're in a throuple. It's like a 3-person couple. She's like, yeah, I feel like I'm married to Joe Burrow half the time. She's like, I see more pictures of Joe Burrow on your phone than I do of you and me. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably 100% true. But I mean, I don't know. And Dad's watched me for years send him video clips. And, as time got older and I finally got access to tape and I can start watching guys and I think this is the guy or this one be fun. Has there ever been a guy that I pounded the table harder for than Joe Burrow? Dad, you paying attention?
Well, Kim's walking in. No, you started with him.
Uh-oh.
I think about 7 games into his senior season.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, Dad, I need you to see this guy because if everything continues the way it's going for the Bengals, this is going to be our new quarterback.
Absolutely.
And once I started watching him at LSU, it was 3, 4, 5 touchdowns every single game. And the more I watched him, the more I knew it wasn't luck. There was something real, real special about that guy. And again, to think we were a Zach Taylor, I'm getting too nervous in overtime to continue this from losing him. When we scored those 16 points in 29 seconds against Miami and we went overtime and all of a sudden we shut down the offense, thank Zach Taylor for being such a new head coach that he didn't know how to handle that situation.
Bengal Dad, I remember every minute of that game. I remember how ticked off. I don't want to.
I remember getting in fights with my dad.
No,
And
like I say, I never want to
Oh,
really get the Bengals,
God.
but I remember that time when Boyd was hurt. If he would have stayed down, the game would have ended. I remember Mickey turned to tell Rocky, "Down, stay down." I'm like, "Stay down! No, don't run back to the sideline and all that." I don't mean to be that way, but can we all agree this paid off big time?
Oh my God! But I just remember going into that game, and I'm like, we are a freaking laying an egg away, just sitting down. We don't have to try. We could put punters out there. We could throw 52 punters out there, and I've got my golden boy for the next 10 to 15 years. And I was like, you don't even have. It's locked up. We're done. You don't even have just don't do anything. And they go on the best freaking comeback I've ever seen in my life. I am losing my mind in the living room.
We
I got a hat on. I'm like screaming.
We were down by 16
with 2 minutes left, literally less than 2
with
minutes.
29 seconds left.
Yes.
Where he threw that Hail Mary to Tyler Boyd. Remember, he missed it, but then Tyler Boyd was held. I'm like, who cares? And I'm like in overtime. But then
they scored a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, an onside kick, a Hail Mary, and a 2-point conversion.
I challenge anybody. I challenge anybody to find a football team that scored more than 16 points in any 29 seconds of any football game ever. They won't find it.
It's
You
almost
won't find it.
impossible.
That's two 2-point conversions and an onside kick.
Well, with a Dalton going outside the pocket, I'm like, okay. Oh my gosh, Andy's running the ball. I'm like, oh, you're kidding me.
I was losing my mind in that living room. I'm like,
I want somebody to talk to Zach Taylor about that.
Yeah.
Looking back, Zach, are you glad you got a case of the goo and you didn't have the gonads to push it to beat him in overtime?
Let's ask a question. So Washington had the second pick, right?
Right.
So they would have had the first pick. So would they have taken Joe Burrow or would they still have gone Chase Young?
They would have taken Joe Burrow.
God knows what Washington would have done. And
I heard they would have taken Joe Burrow. I think I may be wrong, but I could when I heard somewhere where what's his name? The coach he's fired now. What's his name? Ron Rivera. I heard he wanted Joe Burrow. I think.
Could you imagine Joe Burrow's knees on that field? Because that's where he got hurt. That field's fucking cursed. Oh my God.
Ellie. Hey, now let me ask you all this. I think we talked about it a little bit. There was evidence I was Team Chase. I even had a Team Chase shirt made. Was anybody in here Team Sewell?
Nope.
I was all over the place. I was a hot mess during that.
I wanted blocking for Burrow.
No, it was more like you weren't on Team Sewell. You were on protecting Joe Burrow.
Yes.
But were you on Team Chase Santori?
It depended on the day. I'll be 100% honest.
Were you Team Chase? Yep.
Depended on the day. I had endless conversations with my dad about it. It came down to, does an all-pro wide receiver affect the game on a play-to-play basis more, or does an all-pro tackle affect the game on a play-to-play basis more? And does an average wide receiver affect it more, or does an average tackle? An average tackle affects it more than an average receiver, positive. But if you've got an all-pro receiver, which is what you more or less have in Chase, it's a game changer regardless of your line. And they proved that. And that's a hard thing to prove because nobody's really been in that unique position to say, well, let's see which one works best, and we think it's this one. And it's a huge fucking gamble.
Yeah.
I'm glad it worked out. it could have really backfired in their face. It was one of those times where I always tell Dad to look at my face because I tend to wear my emotions pretty outwardly when things happen, whether I like it or don't like it.
You're smiling a lot right now, by the way.
Right.
So draft day, Santori, who were you? Who was your team? Who did you? Who was your?
When it got to draft day, I wanted Chase.
Okay.
And they took Chase, and I was like, this, like, okay, I hope this works. And I heard Dad go, shit, and he threw a book down. And he was like, they're gonna fucking ruin him. I was like, don't just wait, you know.
But you know what?
I can't blame him for feeling that way, though. Like, I understood both sides.
But Bengal Dad, even you can agree this is stupid. So my uncle, who was Team Sewell, he was like telling me, they would have won the Super Bowl if they would have had Sewell. I'm like, no. No. And then he's like, we could have just drafted someone in the second round who could have been just as good as Chase. You are so wrong on that. Chase and Burrow had that connection that they knew each other well. Santori, what do you tell someone? They said if we had Sewell, we would have won the Super Bowl. What would you have said?
We wouldn't have been there.
Never.
So here's the deal. And this is where it comes down to kind of what I was saying before. One receiver. If you've got one special receiver and a quarterback that can constantly get him the ball, that can make or break your season.
Yes.
If you've got 5 shitty offensive linemen, the difference between having 5 shitty offensive linemen and 4 shitty offensive linemen and 1 great one is almost nothing.
Right.
It's you're still gonna have 4 guys bearing down on you regardless. So that's kind of where I was like, well, Sewell ain't fixing this entire line.
No.
So give me the receiver. If Burrow's still gonna get killed one way or the other, I might as well have fun. That's kind of where I was at. I was so dejected they didn't fix it enough in free agency.
Yeah.
I was like, give me the playmaker, No,
the one I was irritated we didn't get because Kevin Zeitler, I heard, wanted to come back here and all that. And I heard like the Bengals that was the one I was a little irritated with and all that. But like I say, everything works out for a reason. I have full trust in what they're doing. So obviously it worked out just fine. Or like another guy told me, if we would have had Whitworth who would have won the Super Bowl, and like you went and said, there's a difference it's not a difference at all between 5 and 4 good offensive. Yeah.
You need 5. If you'd have had Whitworth and Sewell and Karras and Kappa and Volson, I would have entertained that argument that they would have won a Super Bowl without Chase.
Yeah.
And it would have been entertaining an argument because that means I still would have only had 2 receivers and a running back that probably wasn't going to produce much because the running game hasn't been great. And CJ Uzama was not going to take over as a number 3 passing option.
No.
And we saw what it was like before Trent Irwin came up here, and we were really struggling to find that other guy. I still don't think, even if you gave Burrow 5 good linemen last year, I'm not sure if they make the Super Bowl. No. I don't think people give Jamar Chase enough credit for really igniting that offense.
Well, and Greg was talking about somebody that said we can find a receiver in the second round. They must have been thinking about T. Higgins, and we got lucky.
Yeah, that's
so lucky he was.
T. Higgins was a first-round pick who just happened to fall in the second round. That's how I looked at it.
So lucky.
Again, because we hadn't started the show yet, Dad, what was I screaming the morning of day 2 in that 2020 draft?
I believe you were screaming for T. Higgins.
Thank you.
Well, the funny thing is, Corey, I read some reports.
Now, I will. As much as I like to take victory laps, no. I will freaking take one to the face right now, an egg to the face. I was not happy about the Logan Wilson pick. I was 100. I did not want Logan Wilson at all.
And who do you want now?
I don't know.
Between Pratt and Wilson. You said you want consistency, right?
I know.
I was honest with you guys. I wanted Denzel Mims. I wanted Denzel Mims so badly. And like I heard Higgins, some people said Higgins could have dropped more in the draft because he didn't run a 40 well. We also that didn't matter or anything.
I had a top 10 grade on Higgins, so when he fell down there, I was like, "Dad, you got to get this guy. Yeah. Like you're the gods are gifting you an entire offense right now. You got to take it."
See that one?
Oh my god.
Giving the Steelers the first pick in the second
Well,
round.
what's wrong with the Packers? They traded out of that pick.
Yeah.
They not only trade out of it, they traded ahead of the Bengals for that last pick 32. And I thought, oh shit, all right, they're gonna get Higgins, and Rodgers is gonna have Higgins and Devontae Adams. They're gonna be good. And they took Jordan Love, and I went, oh my god, okay.
They were 26 and 32, right?
Yeah, I was like, they made two mistakes.
Yeah.
No, Santori, I'll tell you another receiver I wanted. I wanted LaVisca Chenault and all that. And so I was so glad they didn't listen to me that day. And I wasn't mad about those two better, but I was glad they didn't listen to me that day.
He's a gadget. And there's a place for that. It's like the 4th and 5th round.
Right.
So, Greg, are you saying that you've got a draft book coming out soon?
Yeah, I buy like 6 or 7 draft books. I read all about it.
I'm teasing.
I'll buy like every draft magazine you'll see at Kroger's. I buy 2 for work and 2 for at home. And I'll buy like PFF. Although I know Santori, you do draft stuff. I know Dale. I know, Kieran, it's mainly LSU players he does and all that and stuff. But,
Kieran's got credentials to the Senior Bowl this year.
Yes, he does.
Is he going to? Yeah, that's right. He is going to Senior Bowl.
Yeah, they're going to put that man in Alabama.
Yeah,
he's doing he's doing the top 100, and 96 of them, I think, are LSU.
Yeah,
yeah, pretty much. So, and I think it's safe
Love
to say,
Kieran.
Obviously, hey, we got Super Bowl to win here, but I mean, we'll be talking draft this offseason, right?
As much as it is to my father's dismay, yes, we will be talking draft.
I'm a big draft nerd. It's like Christmas.
I'm hoping I'm not talking about it until like another month from now.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, and even my wife made fun of me for this. She was like, "You haven't started looking at anyone yet," and I'm like, "Haven't had to."
We don't need to right now because we've got the team right now.
Normally, I've already got my like top 100 pegged, and I've sent Dad a million clips of players, and he's like, "All these guys look the same. I don't know who they are. Why are you doing this to me? I just want to eat my shit on a shingle. What are we doing?"
Oh man. Well, one more time, we'll throw this out here. BirminghamHorrorMeadery.com. Houday9 is our code. 15% off when you order 2 bottles or more. So go to their website, get you some good mead. It's delicious. Boom. So
sounds like we're winding down, boys.
we got a big game Sunday. I feel like we were here sometime recently. Oh wait, a year ago. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll
if anybody has rituals they're used to doing, keep doing them because that's
right. We will preview that on Wednesday. I don't think we've got a guest as of now. I think we might just be us 4 again.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
That's fine.
Yeah, because I don't think we've got anybody playing. So you guys are stuck with us. No.
We hosted everyone on Twitter for like 3 weeks straight, so we've run the gamut.
It worked out good. So got some good people on and getting some more viewers. But yep, there's what a win yesterday. I'm still at a high.
Oh, me too, man. I was at work all night, man. I was like in the best spirits, man. I got everything done. I couldn't even sleep for a couple of hours. Even after work and all that, I was a little tired. I still couldn't hardly sleep. I was so excited.
Here, yeah. I'll have another one of those fall on my sword moments. I actually screwed up at work pretty bad, like a week or 2 ago. And my boss called me into the office this morning. And I was like, oh, this is going to be bad. And like the first thing he said was, how about them Bengals? And then I was like, yeah, I figured he wanted to talk about my mistake. And he's like, yeah, we need to talk about that. And I got real serious for about 5 minutes. And he goes, but how about that offensive line? He just kept jumping back to it. I was like, I think the Bengals saved me from getting in
How about that? Trouble. The Bengals have saved pretty much all of us recently.
Oh my God.
That's right.
The whole city's orange right now. It's wonderful.
Whole lot of orange.
Also, we got to convince James to go to RJ. What? You like sausage and your shit on a shingle? No, you do chip beef, man. Well, I guess it's probably sausage, but Greg's like, what the hell is shit on a shingle? Look at his face.
It's good.
All right, I'll take your word.
It's an old Navy food that they used to give to the sailors back in like the 50s. It was just one of those. It's like white gravy with like chip beef in it, and you'd put it on toast.
Cream chip beef.
Yep,
Right.
cream chip beef on toast, and they would call it shit on a shingle. You can still buy it at Kroger. It's frozen. It comes in little bags. We grew up eating it. It's literally white gravy on toast with it. It almost looks like little shreds of pepperoni in it. Is what it looks like, or salami. Yeah, Tudors. Do they have it at Tudors? I haven't had it there. I might be able to finally get my dad to eat Tudors. I do love Tudors. For those of you that don't know, like in Cincinnati, we have Skyline Chili. That's like our big local chain. West Virginia has Tudors. And my God, if you've never had a biscuit from Tudors, the restaurant's called Tudors Biscuit World, and they've got some great stuff. Dad, if you want to jump off here, I'm going to be a minute talking about Tudors.
Yeah, I'm going to jump off here. You're putting me to sleep now.
We're going to go on a tangent. I'm going to educate the young people about Tudors.
All right, I'll see you in 2 days, and we'll talk about the upcoming game.
All right.
Who day?
Tudors Biscuit World. All right. They've got, and when I tell you, they are some big MFers, right? I mean, they are like some thick ass biscuits, right? Country ham and egg. Yeah, see? Fiji. We got like all kinds of people from West Virginia watching this show. I fucking love it. I'm trying to find, first off, they all look like barns. Let me see if I can share my page here. Yeah, that'll be a good one. So they just look like little red barns with a green hut on them. And they're only open till like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. It's one of those places. They open bright and early, like 5, 6 in the morning.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Tudors Biscuit World. I mean, they've got like breakfast platters. They do like slaw dogs. I mean, they do all kinds of good stuff. Their menu's giant. I mean,
it looks like Andy Reid's play call sheet.
It does. But like, they got the Mary B, the Ron, the shaved ham, the Mountaineer.
Mom said it sounds dirty.
It does sound dirty. But my God, they're delicious. Look at that thing.
It looks awesome.
Oh my! And they're only like $2. Like,
well, not with that egg on it. It's $17.50 now.
No, oh yeah.
I'm kidding.
Oh my God! Look at this person. I need this person in my life.
There you go.
Tudors Biscuit World.
Just buy one of those for Ashley. Have her wear it around the house.
Oh my God! The one I get is the Peppy. It's my favorite.
Right.
It's if I can find it on here, there won't be a good picture of it, so I'll just kind of skip it. The Peppy it's. I mean, the biscuits are probably like this big. Seriously, it's like a big hamburger bun. But it's grilled pepperoni. They grill it first, and it's a buttery biscuit, and then there's hot cheese whiz on it. Pepperoni, cheese whiz, and biscuit, and it is like amazing. I had one before I got married. There's one in Ohio. It's up near Dayton. My buddy went up and I was like, "Hey, we're getting married in Miamisburg. It's like 20 minutes from here." I'm like, "Here's $20. Go get me as many Peppies as you can." And this is where I'm a terrible husband. It's my wife's favorite place on the planet. I didn't get her any. It was just for me and my groomsmen. So we're sitting there eating Peppies, and you're not supposed to see your bride beforehand, right? And so she didn't know. So we're sitting there, we're having our first dance, lovely picturesque view. And she's going, "Man, I'm so fucking hungry." And I was like, "Yeah, I had Tudors for breakfast." And she's like, "You did what?" And I was like, "Yeah, I had Tudors." She's like, "Did you save me any? Did you get me something?" I was like, "Fuck no." I was like, that was for me. She was so mad.
You started off your honeymoon on the couch.
Oh my God. I think the best thing about that whole experience was, and I swear I can find it somewhere. I think I put it on Twitter like every year. So it's probably just if I go to like my pictures, where we did like our first little piece of cake or whatever. and I absolutely throttled her with a piece of
Yeah, I
cake.
saw that.
Oh my god, I gotta see if I can find it and put it up here. I mean, I destroyed her. It looked like a Derrick Henry stiff arm out of hell. Like seriously, I got every single piece of her, and I don't think she was ready. I'm sure it's on Facebook. I'll find it there. It's my favorite picture on the planet. She gets so mad about it too.
She's gonna walk in.
She probably will. She's gonna bust in the door and be like, "No,
You son of a. No.
you're not showing that. Why not? It's one of my favorites." How do I find photos? I don't even know how to use Facebook anymore.
Yeah.
There's some from my wedding.
Oh goodness.
Oh, that's the best one. Look at this. Y'all are gonna see like my actual name and everything. It doesn't matter. I don't coach anymore. Oh, look at that. That's what I look good.
Oh, no, I've seen
Boom.
picture of Santori.
I gotta find that picture.
Well, I got the picture where you put
Oh, there's some old pictures. We don't get to see those. That's where I was coaching.
Santori. Where's that?
Oh, we got live video. This is better. All right, I won't do that to you. And then she goes and hits me with a little piece of cake, and I was like, "All right, now listen here."
Yeah, I can do it to you, but you can't do that to me.
Right. Like if you're gonna do this now, you're in for a world of hurt.
Try the big tater if you haven't.
Oh yeah, big tater's good.
Crip said for him it's the minor.
Yeah, and he means minor as in like coal miner.
ER.
Yeah, not children.
Yeah. Mom said she liked to biggie size her tutor. That sounds funny. I'm a child though.
All right, I got one last thing to share, and this is from Cleveland's infamous 0-16 season.
Oh yeah, I'm going to see this. Is that the parade?
This is where Dad and I used to watch games, and we've always had this idea where we wanted to record ourselves and just our reactions of us screaming. So we tried one play on Snapchat, and this was the last play of that season. And I hope there's a video or there's audio to it.
Cleveland!
It doesn't sound like there is.
No, there is.
Oh.
No! Oh! No! Oh! I dropped the ball!
It's all we do is yell and scream the entire time.
Weren't you wanting them to go 0-16 or?
I didn't want to see him go 0-16, and I wanted to see him beat the Steelers. It didn't matter for anything that year because we weren't particularly good either.
Yeah.
Right.
But I didn't want to see him go 0-16. I didn't have, I can do it now since the whole Deshaun Watson debacle. But I would much rather watch Baltimore or Pittsburgh go 0-16 if I had to pick. Cleveland was like, man, these guys are the butt of the joke every year. Their fans don't deserve that.
Santori, if you know a particular Browns fan like I do, you want to see them go 0-16 because they just never shut up. I'm sorry.
They don't.
They just,
Energizer bunnies, man.
Yep.
They never do be quiet, though. They always keep saying, like, I hear Trent Richardson's going to be the best running back of all time, or Brandon Weeden is already one of the best quarterbacks. Like, I had to hear all this crap.
He was 63 when he had his rookie year.
Right, exactly. It was just every single day, man. He's like, oh, they're going to be the best team and all that. They're going to be the – I'm like, oh, here we – TJ Ward or Lord knows who else. I don't know.
I don't know. But we got a big game coming up.
Absolutely. Let's do this.
We'll have a big preview on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
They got to play us.
Do it again.
I think I'm going to have some film on Wednesday for us. I know
Oh,
we
good.
kind of tossed that idea around that you guys have wanted me to
Yes.
to break down some film. I've got my skadoodle pad, and
Little.
God knows there was more than enough. I think I'm gonna. I'll tell you ahead of time. I'm gonna break down the Hayden Hurst touchdown to show you all why that worked.
Yes.
All right.
Romo did a halfway decent job, but I want to show people why exactly it works as opposed.
Now, are you going to use that on Jeff's show?
No, I'll use different plays on Jeff's show.
There we
All
go.
right.
Attaboy. Save the best for us. No.
Well, there's so much I can go over.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, you
We've
can
been harping you for it. 5 or
give me-
10 minutes.
give me any play. Like
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. They used to get so mad at me at LaSalle when I'll do freshman film. They're like, "All right, we got 47 plays we got to get through, and we have 12 minutes." And I was like, "What? We can go 12 minutes per play. What do you mean we got 40?" They used to go, "All right, Coach Cliff Notes version. We can sit here all day." I'm like, I can't. Like, there's too much. Because at the time when I would break down that film, because there was only 2 coaches for freshman ball, you'd have one coach kind of giving his overall topic, and then I would kind of break down the positions. Well, there's 11 of them out there, and I want to make sure that each kid knew what they did right or wrong on each play.
Yeah.
And they were like, "You don't have to go over all 11 on each play." And I was like, I hated that. And I was like, I can. Like, I would go forward, back, probably 10 or 12 times and make sure the kid knew exactly what he did right or wrong.
Right.
Like, okay, now we're going up to the next spot. You. And then, bless his heart, the defensive coordinator was like, this was a 2-yard run. We really don't need to do that right now. And I'm like, we do, because they need to know how to do this moving forward. And he's like, we don't have that kind of time. You get going.
Right.
So, I mean, I could really, really, really sit there and go a half an hour on one play if you need me to.
You get 2.5 minutes.
All
No,
right.
Just kidding. I'm kidding.
I'll jam it in there. We'll figure it out.
Hey,
Trust me.
we're doing this right here. Ruling the playoffs, baby. Greg, say it.
They got to play us.
That's right.
No, hey, don't stand on the tracks when the train's coming through. And if we're up by a bunch of points, always remember, double tap.
Yeah,
Double tap.
Don't take your foot off the gas. I hate that shit.
Yep, I agree. All right, guys. Well, Hoo day, everybody.
Hoo day,